Alright guys, it is December 1st, 2024, which means it is officially 2025 planner journal season. And I am here today to show you my fat stack of journals and notebooks for 2025. I'm fully aware that it is a little bit insane to have this many notebooks slash planners for a year. If you had talked to me 3 years ago and I was watching a video of somebody who was talking about the 8 notebooks they're using for that year, I would have been like, that's fucking crazy. Like, that's insane. So fully aware, but I think once you see the purpose and function of all of them, you will be a little bit less judgy. Or maybe not. Maybe you won't be, and that's okay. That's totally fine. I've been a little bit MIA from YouTube this year. My last video was literally the beginning of the year, January 2024, my reading journal flip through, and I talked about being 18 weeks pregnant and moving to Hawaii, and here I am in Hawaii, and my daughter is 6.5 months old, so we've been busy. It's been very busy, but I do want to focus on YouTube and my blog coming up for the new year, so I was like, we don't need to wait till 2025 to start on these goals. Let's just start now. So go ahead and get cozy, grab your 3 drinks, grab your blanket, grab your journal, your planner, your coloring book, your crochet hooks, whatever you want, and let's talk about it. Let's yap about 2025. All right, so here is our fat stack from above. Here's the aerial view. But before we start there, I'm actually going to start in my current common planner, which I use to plan out my planners for next year. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I was spending some time thinking about what kinds of things I needed for the upcoming year, like what I wanted in my planners and my notebooks, and this allowed me to sit down and see what I already had, because I do have quite a few notebooks already, and what kinds of things I wanted to budget for, what kind of things I wanted to like get on a launch day, and kind of plan all that out. So this was actually super helpful. And then I did little doodles of what everything looked like. So I actually already owned all of these journals right here. So these were the only things that I bought brand new, and these are all things that have specific dates in them, which is why I had to buy them, because they are specific for the year, whereas these are all plain notebooks. So I actually did add one thing to this, just a little swatch journal, but for the most part, and I did switch this journal out, but for the most part, this is how everything ended up looking. So I just wanted to share this because I think it's really cute. First up, I think we have to start with my common planner for 2025. So here she is. She's gorgeous. I got the Mulberry leather cover from Sterling Ink, and I actually just added these little gold floral doodles like just a few nights ago. It was super nerve-wracking. I was really afraid that it was gonna not look good, but I was pretty happy with it. I saw somebody in the Facebook group do this, and I just thought it was so cute. And it's got the gilded edges, of course. I'm not gonna talk a whole lot about this notebook and what I'm using it for, because I do have some flip through videos on my channel, which I will link. Actually, I only have one flip through currently, but I will be filming a part 2 flip through towards the end of the year once I'm done with my 2024. The biggest difference is that if currently I was using the half year, so this is my current notebook, and this is just part 2, so it was split up into 2 notebooks for the whole year, whereas this one I got the full year, which I kind of liked doing the split year, but they only had the mulberry color in the full year, so I was like, you know what the hell, we're just gonna do it. So that's what that is. The other biggest difference is that if you look through my flip through video, I was using my common planner this year as like an all-encompassing planner slash journal, and I've gradually gotten away from traditional planning in this. So if you are familiar with common planner, it's basically like a Hobonichi, where it's got your year pages in the front and some quarterly pages, and then month, and then weeklies, and then a bunch of blank pages in the back. So my favorite thing about these is that these blank pages are undated. With the Hobonichi Cousin, I just could not, I did enjoy having the dated pages in the back, the like one page per day, but it was really hard for me to use them for anything other than like daily like recaps. And I like to be a little bit more fun and playful in my journals with like silly lists and pictures and, you know, random collections throughout. And I know that you can do that in a Hobonichi, but I just could not wrap my brain around the idea of like using, you know, 2 random dated pages for a certain collection, and then where do I put my information for those days? It just was like not working for my brain. So the undated pages work a lot better for me. So yeah, so I am just doing journal keeping in this. So even though it is set up like a traditional planner, I have a few uses for these that I will be talking about when I flip through my part 2, ways that it's kind of evolved throughout the years. So I am very excited about this one, and I just think it looks so cute. So as an addendum to that planner, I have a Hobonichi Techo, which is the original A6 size. This is the Hollyhocks Liberty Fabrics cover, which I think is adorable. I got this cover because this is basically going to be my everyday carry. So like I said, I'm taking out the traditional planning and to-do lists and appointments and all that from my common planner, and those are now going in here. So my plan is to keep this pretty simple. I'm not trying to do a whole lot of like decor or like aesthetics, although knowing me, I probably will try to do that anyway because I don't know how to not sometimes. But my plan for this is to use the, you know, monthly pages for any appointments or like outings I have, or doctor's appointments, birthdays, and then the dated pages for my to-do list for the day, or, you know, meal planning, or my weekly checklist of things I want to get done, chore planning, all that good stuff. It might evolve a little bit more as the year goes on, as these things do, so we'll see if that happens. But the biggest reason I wanted to split those up is because in my current common planner, I'm trying to find a good example. So like if you see here, like there'll be a day when I had a to-do list like this, but then I do want to do some journaling, but maybe it'll take me a few days to get to it. So then I'm not quite sure where to put the next day's to-do list. If I should just start it on this page or start it on the next page and then leave this for my any back journaling I might want to do. So that was an issue that I found myself coming across multiple times this year. So I just think it's going to work a lot better for me to have those two things separate. So the common planner is exclusively for memory keeping and like journaling, and this is going to be for rapid logging, lists, chores, all that good stuff. So that's what I'm planning on using this for. So next up, we've got my Hobonichi Weeks, this super cute cherry. I don't know if it has a specific name. I'm sure it does, but there's cherries on here. This is going to be my finance and spending notebook. So I haven't talked about this particular notebook on YouTube before. I've talked about it a little bit on my Instagram, but so here's my one from 2024. Please excuse this atrocious stain on the front. I think this is from a strawberry Pop-Tart I was eating, and it's just really, really upsetting to me that that's on there. So I will be buying a clear cover for this. But this is basically where I keep all of our, I track all of our spending and finances for on a weekly, daily, and monthly basis. I did not keep up with it very well. So if you can see, it's kind of like sporadic for several months, where there's like a lot of blank pages, and then I kind of gave up for a while. And then the last several months, I actually really stuck with it. And then I've got like my weekly pages back here, and that's kind of why I have the sticker of Caleb Hammer on here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with financial audit here on YouTube, but watching his videos is one of the biggest reasons that I started keeping up with tracking our spending and finances again. So I wanted to include him on the front of this. But anyway, so that's what I use this notebook for, and because I was so consistent with it the last several months, and it actually did really, really help us rein in our spending and just see where our money is going. And this is definitely one of the things I want to keep up with for 2025. So I got the weeks again, and I am going to be updating some of the ways that I track things on here. I was thinking about doing a more in-depth video where I walk you guys through how I do this on a like weekly and monthly basis, like exactly how I'm using this, and potentially even setting this up for the coming year. So if that's something you're interested in seeing, let me know in the comments, because I don't know how many people are actually interested in something like that. This is a gorgeous A5 dot grid notebook. Actually, it's not dot grid, it's a lined notebook from Archer and Olive. This is part of their everyday collection, so they do tend to keep this one stocked more often than their other ones. I'm really upset because my cats use the back of this as a scratching board, if you can see. So that was a little upsetting, but the front of it still looks great. This is basically my all-encompassing writing slash dear diary kind of notebook. So it's very, very simple. There's pretty much just writing on it, and this is something I don't really like show the pages online very much because a lot of it's like very private. If there's any like writing prompts or exercises that I want to do from a book or that I saw online, this is where this goes. And it's kind of just an overflow from my common planner. Like if there's anything that I have a lot of thoughts about and I don't want to use like 5 pages in my common planner, or I don't want to focus on the aesthetics, then this is where this goes. I know that you don't have to focus on aesthetics, like you can just write pages in your journal. And I do that sometimes, but I just find it a lot easier to focus on the actual writing when it's in a separate place versus when it's in my common planner, because I just like to make it look pretty. That's part of the fun of it for me. So having a separate space is really helpful for me. And I started this in March of this year, I believe, and I'm not even like a third of the way through, so I foresee this lasting for the rest of the year, if not longer than that. And I'm very excited to keep using it because, like I said, it's pretty. So, and this is something I pretty much only pull out like once a week, maybe every 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm not writing a whole lot in this all the time. Next up is my beloved reading journal. You guys have seen a lot of my reading journal on this channel. I do a lot of talking about that reading journal, and this is actually my reading journal for this current year, for 2024, which I have set up videos. I have a setup video on my channel, and I will be doing a flip through of this whole thing once the year is done. But here's the thing, I only use like half of this notebook. There's a solid like 40 pages left. So I feel weird starting another notebook when this one still has quite a lot of pages left. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and continue this for 2025. I will be condensing a lot of the pages, and I'll talk about this more in the flip through video of like some things that I stopped doing this current year that weren't working for me, that will save me even more pages for next year. So I think I can fit all of 2025 in here. I originally was going to use this A5 notebook from Archer and Olive that I also have, which is a smaller size that I have used in the past. But like I said, I'm trying to use things that I have, and I like having my notebooks pretty full. So I'm going to keep with this one for now. I am planning on doing, like I said, both a flip through video of the current pages as well as a setup video where I'm setting up my pages for next year. So keep an eye out for that. We have another Archer and Olive notebook. This is a square, an 8x8 square notebook. Also a dot grid. I believe this is from their spring 2024 collection. And it's just, it's got a similar design to the Storybook one I showed, but it's got the bee, and it's so cute. I love this one so much. It's kind of like suede leather, like, cover. But anyway, this is a baby book for my daughter. So I'm not trying to show like all of these pages right now, but it's basically like a traditional baby book. And where I'm going to be keeping like her month, like her month pictures and milestones and any big memories you have, like first Thanksgiving, first Halloween, Christmas, things like that I want to document. So I had a pregnancy notebook for my pregnancy with her, which I also did not keep up with very well. As you can see, I have a lot of like things written in here and pictures that I never got to pasting, but the theme for this one was like baby, like welcome baby. So it was like bees and sunflowers, And that's what my theme was for this notebook, for this pregnancy notebook. And so when I saw this bee notebook, I was like, okay, I have to get this for her baby book because that is so perfect. And I have quite a few like bee and sunflower ephemera and stickers and washi, all that. So that's what this is for. As you can see, I said earlier that she's 6.5 months old. I barely even have month 1 done, so I am behind, and I'm sure anybody who has ever spent any amount of time around a newborn or a baby understands why. So I'm not too worried about it. I am working on it. I will catch up eventually, but it is there for now. And again, this is something that will probably carry through for a few years, and also not something that I'm working in every single day or even every week. It's probably something I'm going to sit down monthly and update, if that, or every few months, as is happening right now. So that's what that one is for. This tiny notebook, this is a little A6. It says warm mail. I don't really know what the brand is, because our friends sent me a journaling kit from Amazon, and this was part of it. The paper is like, I don't know what kind of paper it is. It's thicker than traditional Tomoe River, but it's not quite as thick as like Archer and Olive. But my idea for this, I talked about how we're living in Hawaii now. I've gotten really into like bird watching. So, and taking like nature photos while we've been here, because there's so many pretty like species of birds and trees and marine life and all that. So I would like to ideally use this as a little nature notebook for all the time that we're in Hawaii. So I'd probably have some tabs up here that separated out by like birds, by plants, by trees, and then marine life, or maybe like other, because there's really not a whole lot of like, there are some like critters that are not birds, but there's not very many outside of like what's in the ocean. So that's what my idea is for this, and to like print out the pictures that I take and put down like the name and just like any notes about, you know, the behavior of those birds or animals, and you know, how often I see them, how common they are, and whatnot. And that is something that I would ideally keep with through the rest of our time here in Hawaii, which is probably another 2.5 years at least. So yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing with this, because it was just, like I said, a notebook I had lying around, and I'm not 100% sure that I'm actually going to start this, but I would like to. So stay tuned to see if that actually happens. Last but not least, we have this tiny little notebook. I actually don't know what, I guess it's technically an A6 as well, but I actually got this for free with my Hobonichi order when I ordered my Techo and my Weeks. And it's the Tomoe River paper, and I was originally going to not use it for anything, but I needed a place to swatch a lot of my markers and pens that was Tomoe River paper. Because I do have another swatch journal. I have this B5 Archer and Olive dot grid that I've started, but the way that a marker shows up on this paper, which is white and thick and like just a different finish, is kind of different to how it shows up on the Tomoe River paper, which is the paper that I have in my common planner and in the Hobonichi. So I decided to turn this into a little swatch journal as well. I haven't done a whole lot in it so far. I've just done my Tombow dual brush pens and my Archer and Olive calligraph pens, because those pens are like the most extensive color palettes I have, and the ones that I kind of reach for the most often. It's already been super helpful. I just keep it like close up my desk and use it as a reference page. So I think that's what I'm going to be using that for. And again, this is not something I'm like spending a lot of time on every day. Like, I fill up the swatches, which might take me like an hour or two total, and then it's just a reference notebook. So that's what I'm using that for. And I believe that concludes all of my journals and notebooks. Is it crazy to have 8 notebooks and journals? Yes, maybe a little bit, but these are the only 3 that I'm really using on a daily basis. You know, I'm spending maybe 5 minutes in this every day, writing down our expenses for the day, maybe 30 minutes at the end of the week adding up the weekly totals, and then another 30 minutes at the end of every month totaling things up. This is just kind of as needed, so a few minutes throughout the day, checking in, keeping me on track, and then this is probably where I will spend the most time because I'll be, you know, recapping my days, adding in memories, printing off pictures, washi, all that. So these are really the only 3 that I'm using like on a like regular basis, and everything else is just kind of as needed that I'll kind of spend time in here and there. So that's why I feel like I hope you waited until the end of this video to fully judge this many notebooks. And like I said, you know, only a few of these I actually purchased new. The rest are things I just have lying around that I needed to use. So that's what the plan is for 2025. As we all know, plans change very regularly. So, you know, I'll probably do a check-in here in a few months to see what this lineup is actually looking like in reality. And yeah, that's that. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions about any of these notebooks, or if there's any notebooks that I showed that you'd like to like see more of or hear more about specifically, let me know. One of my goals for 2025 is to spend more time on YouTube and like more time creating videos on YouTube and less time in like Instagram and TikTok, because I just appreciate long form content a little bit more these days, and it seems like less mental energy. So yeah, of course, I always want to hear what you guys think and what things you want to see. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Happy planning.